Hi, it's Craig again, and this is another mindfulness video, my fifth one in my 10-week course. So this one is going to be called The Opening Heart. So welcome everyone, for you to join me, and we'll explore the opening heart for a little while, and then we'll do a meditation probably to finish this video. So what do I mean by an opening heart? So, when we're mindful, when we're practicing mindfulness, you could say our heart begins to open. We start observing ourselves a lot better. We're noticing things a lot better. So, our emotions, our tensions in our body, we're noticing. We're also noticing our thinking. This is what mindfulness is about. When you notice that your mind is leaving the present moment and going off into the past or the future, when you notice these things, we can notice what it is that we are thinking about. And there's this negativity kind of bias that we have that makes us worry about things in the future or be frustrated over things that have happened in the past. So it's a really lovely practice to come back to the moment and breathe and just settle ourselves, you know, in our presence. And the more we do that, we stop thinking about our worries and our ego self that's judging everything. We're letting go of judgments, and so what's left is a kind of increased love emotional state. We can get a lot of joy and happiness from being in the present. And this in turn gives us more kindness to ourselves, and that ripples out into the universe. And also compassion for other people. We're more able to be present for other people as well. So we have mindful communication, which I'll touch upon a little bit here. So we're observing ourselves, we're noticing what we need, whether we're tired, we decide to rest, or whether we're hungry, we need food, or whether we've been in our head too much, we know we need to let go of our thoughts and come back to our moment. And so this love is starting to surface. It's in us anyway. Often our kindness and our compassion is blocked through our thinking, through our ego mind, where we're not in the flow of things. So once we're being more mindful, and it's a natural byproduct, our heart opens. We start having joy and awe and wonder and kindness and gratitude, and things like this start emerging. Things that are always there but just lost when we're in our heads. And so equally, when we're in conversation with another, we can see their needs and feelings a lot better too, and we can notice when someone's being mindful or isn't being mindful, because our mindfulness is getting stronger. And so it's really good way of practicing mindful listening. And this is a conscious choice that you can sit or stand when you're talking to someone and really try and listen to them. So that means not interrupting them, not judging what they're saying, not trying to fix a problem or interrupt them. It's all about just listening. And you find, because your heart's open, you're more compassionate to what they're saying, you're kinder to what they're saying, and you're reflecting back in your own words what they're saying so that they feel heard. It's a good practice, and I'll talk more about it in another video about mindful communication. So, ways to keep our heart open. You find by practicing mindfulness, we're in this more clear, rational place. We're not in our fear base, we're not in our ego thinking about this and that. We're present. So there's a love base there. There's a peacefulness, there's a calmness to practicing mindfulness. So there are ways, as well as meditating and as well as being in the moment, there are other ways of which we can keep our heart open. And it's important to practice some of these things when we're feeling uncomfortable, we're feeling tense, or things are going on in our life that are causing problems. it's good to kind of notice that we've kind of left the Zen and left our bodies and gone into our minds again, thinking, analyzing, overthinking, really. And then to come back to our mindful practice with various ways. And this is what I mean by keeping the heart open. We come back to ourselves. So one way, as I've said, is gratitude. Gratitude is a lovely practice, and just saying thank you for what we have. Waking up in the morning and having the gratitude for another day, still breathing, still alive, can still see, I've got a roof over my head here. If I wake up and I'm feeling negative and I'm a bit grouchy and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can be bothered today, then I'm up here in my head judging the day before it's even started. So gratitude brings you back to the moment. You could sort of wake up and breathe and like, what am I grateful for right now? What is it that's good about my life right now? We're trying to kind of impact this negative bias that's in our brain, which is a fight and flight response. We're there kind of on edge to protect us. But most times we don't need that protection. We just need to trust and be in each moment. So gratitude is great. I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for my roof. I'm grateful that I have a full belly. I'm grateful for the rain on my window because I'm enjoying the sound of it. It doesn't matter what the gratitude is. It will bring you back to what's going on now. And another good practice is to keep a gratitude journal, which I do most nights, is I write one gratitude in my journal. So I'm grateful for the day I had. I'm grateful for the hot chocolate I had. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for the weather. I'm grateful for whatever. And you write it down. And then after a while, especially when you're feeling a bit uncomfortable, you can go back to that journal and flick through. And you'll notice that actually there's quite a bit to be grateful for in life. So gratitude is a good practice. And this goes into generosity as well, a kind of generous nature, generosity of spirit. And generosity is about kind of letting go of things. You're giving away your time, or you're giving away money, or you're giving away objects, like to a charity shop or something like that. These are all generous acts. But you're also, when you're being mindful, you're letting go of thinking, past and future. And that's a generous act to yourself. You're generating kindness and compassion within you. You're opening your heart. So practicing generosity, you can choose again, wake up in the morning. It's like, well, what can I do to help? What can I do to serve either myself or my wife or someone I know, or maybe the world? Maybe I can meditate on world peace or whatever. It's still generous nature. You're still rippling out kindness into the atmosphere. It's better than sitting there being negative and grouchy and just worrying about your problems. It's kind of like, well, okay, I do have these problems. I do feel like this. I'm going to breathe with what I feel. That's a generous nature in itself, to be with everything, with acceptance and kindness to myself for everything that's going on, for everything that I can, that I'm thinking and worrying about. Let's be kind to myself. There's a good act of generosity. But you can also, send kindness and love to people. And this is called compassion. We have compassionate meditations. If you were to Google or YouTube those, there's hundreds of them. But they're all about kind of sending love to oneself to begin with, and then to a friend or a family member. You're imagining someone is struggling. And compassion is kind of a commonality between humans. We're all struggling. We've all got issues and illness and problems. And so it's really lovely practice to notice when someone else is struggling and maybe do something nice for them, whether it's sending a gift or even just mentally sending them kind thoughts or love. That's an act of generosity. And so you're building this selfless nature. So the more generosity you practice, you're opening your heart more and you're sending love out more rather than anger and frustration and anxiety. And that's good for you, and it's good for the other person, and it's good for the world. So gratitude, generosity, the two G's, they go well together. Other ways of keeping your heart open is to do joyful things, is to practice joy. So hobbies, creativity, and creativity doesn't mean that you have to be an artist or a writer or anything like that. You can be creative in your garden, you can be creative in your cooking, you can be creative in how you tidy a room or organize a room. You can be creative with your to-do lists. You can be creative in a walk, even a mindful walk. You could decide to go a different route, or opening yourselves up to what's out there, rather than the old predictable comfort zones. You're trying to kind of ease into those a little bit, but it's good to do things that give you joy. So if you are a keen gardener, be in the garden mindfully. Practice using that time to just be in the moment. I'm pruning a bush, so this is what I'm doing right now. I'm giving it full attention. If I'm thinking about past and future, then I come back to the pruning of the bush. That's what I'm doing. That's what it means to be mindful. You're using your awareness to come back to the moment. So think of joyful things. There's hundreds of things. It could be reading a book, it could be listening to music, it could be watching a film, it could be mindfully colouring in or doodling. There's loads of mindful colouring in books around at the moment. So all of these things, if you're focusing on them with your full attention and you're not thinking about the past and the future, you're being mindful while you're doing your hobby, and that will give you a lot of satisfaction, a lot of joy. So seeing the wonder in life is also a lovely practice. Just hearing the rain and marveling at the fact that there is rain. Looking at rainbows in the sky, enjoying the sun, weather kind of systems, cloud formations, they can look amazing. Looking at wildlife, all these kind of things, or landscapes, mountains and lakes and rivers and the sea, watching the waves coming in and out. Practice breathing in, breathing out as the waves come in and out. So seeing the wonder, because the world is pretty wondrous, really. We're caught up in our heads a lot thinking about our own issues, but when you come away from that and really start to see, a mindful walk, you're really seeing, you're really feeling everything. You're feeling the footsteps on the ground, you're feeling the ground, you're feeling the weather, you're noticing birds singing, or you're noticing sounds, you're noticing shades and textures and everything. You get a joy, you get an awe, you get reverence and wonder, and those things keep you mindful. They keep you in the moment. So again, whenever you're feeling uncomfortable, going out for a mindful walk is a wonderful practice. Taking one's time to really be out where you are, doesn't matter where it is. You'll always find something that you can look at and pause and stop, whether it's a drop of water on a leaf. Look for the wonder. This keeps your heart open. And it's important when we do feel uncomfortable to try and keep our heart open and to try and accept that we do feel uncomfortable. So if we're in anxiety or we're in anger, or we're really struggling with something in our life, it's so important to bring yourself back to the moment and give yourself kindness while we're there, because that will keep your heart going. If you're in your head too much, analyzing things too much, it's quite easy to go down a journey in your mind where you may judge things more, analyze things more, and this will be creating tension within you, and actually could cause you to become ill, or have really strong emotions, despair, things like that, So it's good to notice how you feel, and if you feel that way, that's totally okay, because mindfulness is non-judgment. So if you are feeling hurt or uncomfortable or wound up, be okay with that. Don't blame it on anything else, because you are feeling that way. So knowing that you feel that way, it's so good for you to just breathe with that and sit with it and be with it. And you will find that it will shift after a while. If you're focusing on the blame or the judgment, you're not going to get any better. You're just reinforcing these emotions within you. And that's where, frustration can lead to anger, and nervousness can lead to anxiety or panic, or, you know, um, feeling down about the world can lead to depression or despair, because we're fueling it with our thinking. Our thinking is not open heart. It's thinking about ourselves. It's blaming this thing for our happiness. It's like, I'll be happy if only all of that stuff would go away. And actually, you can be happy right now by just focusing on your breath and gratitudes and joy and mindful practices. And what we're doing is, we're not like avoiding what's going on out there. We're replenishing our energy and our our life. We're experiencing our life in such a way that nothing out there is a threat. It's something that gives us a reaction, and we calm our reaction, and we become, resilient and more able to cope with what's going on. And then we use that to then reintegrate into whatever the issue is, in a rational way, in a calm way, dealing with what we can deal with in the moment. Mindfulness isn't passive. It's, you can do things to change situations, but only if you can do things. If you can't do it personally, then thinking about it is going to drive you mad. It's much better to know what it is you can do, and sometimes all you can do is sit and breathe and send kindness sometimes, because some of these issues are so overpowering that one person can't solve the bigger picture. But by being kind and peaceful to yourself and with everybody that you come into contact with, if you're kind to others and compassionate to others, and this is a natural progression of an open heart, but we practice it as well, then you're really helping. You're starting to have this selflessness, which really helps other people who are also suffering and struggling in similar ways. And then if that was to keep rippling, then eventually we'd have a complete shift in our culture from anger and judgment into kindness and peacefulness and gentleness and compassion. And if we had a compassionate world, then we'd all have open hearts, and we'd be less in our heads judging and analysing things. We'd be calmer, and the world would be calmer too. So don't underestimate the power of sitting and being and the practice of mindfulness, because it can really ripple out. And you might think you're not doing anything because you're just sitting, but you are doing amazing work. You're calming you're calming the atmosphere around you, you're calming your interactions with other people and situations, and that in turn calms those people and situations. There's no point shouting at someone. You're just going to send your anger out to someone else, and they'll feel hurt, or they might shout back, so anger becomes anger. But if you're kind and compassionate, then you've got more chance of caring for what goes on and what happens in people's lives. So meditation and mindfulness is the essence of opening your heart and keeping it open. So what I'm going to do now is a meditation, as I said, to finish this video, where we'll practice just that. We'll practice sitting and being and opening our hearts and sending out compassion to the world, because it really needs it. So, thank you for listening to me. I invite you now to close your eyes, to sit where you are and get comfortable, and I will guide you through a meditation. I have a bell here, which I shall hit first, just to begin, and then we'll see how we get on. So here we go. So just begin by noticing your breath, noticing your in-breath and your out-breath. And feeling the air as you breathe in, feeling the air as you breathe out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. And if your mind wanders away from the breath into thinking, just smile and acknowledge that your mind does this. And gently bring your focus back to your breath. Breathing in calmly, breathing out easily. And just notice the chair that you're sitting on, ground under your feet. And just wiggle your toes. Notice that toes are wiggling. And feel which part of your body is connected to the chair. Your legs, your back, your bottom. Just tune in and notice how you're feeling. And whatever's present, just send kindness with your in-breath to whatever areas may be slightly achy or emotional. Just give yourself kindness. Breathing in, kindness. Breathing out, calmness. And as you breathe in kindness to yourself, just visualize someone else who maybe needs this kindness. As you breathe kindness to yourself, just send love and kindness to that person. May you wish them ease of life, be free of their suffering, and to know happiness. And smile to yourself, just noticing what it feels like to smile. Notice if smiling is difficult. Accept whatever you can manage. Breathing in, smiling. Breathing out the present moment. Just notice any sounds that may be present. Just listening to what happens in each moment. Just letting things come and go. So just take another few conscious breaths. And just when you're ready, just gently open your eyes, come back to where you are. Okay, so thank you for doing that meditation. It was only about 7 or 8 minutes, but it's enough to just notice our breathing, sending out kindness, giving oneself kindness. All of these things are important to keeping your heart open and keeping you balanced and in your love base, not up here worrying about the past, worrying about the future, bogging yourself down with fear thinking, negative thinking. So any meditation is good if you can manage what we do every day. 5 minutes or 10 minutes, wonderful practice. There's many meditations out there that you can practice. Or you can just sit just quietly on your own, just being, just breathing. See how long you can do it for. Even if you do it for 1 minute, it's better than nothing. But just noticing in your day as well when you're feeling a bit down or heavy or uncomfortable or grouchy or anxious, to try and come back with mindfulness to where you are. Drink your tea, to drink your tea, feel the cup, feel the steam, drink your tea and enjoy that moment. Sit and feel the chair, notice the ground, use your awareness. If you're ever feeling uncomfortable, if you're ever stuck somewhere, wanting to throw things at the wall, pause, breathe, come back to yourself with your awareness, and in some situations you will be much better straight away. In other situations it takes longer to sit with whatever the emotion is. Depends how intense it is. But by sitting with your emotions and breathing with them and befriending them and accepting everything, you are mindful, and everything will come and go, and you'll still be there and you'll feel better. So I hope this has been a useful video for you, and thank you if you managed to get this far, and lovely to be able to do these. And there is a sheet attached to this video that's on my website, so just feel free to download that. It'll give you a reminder of what I've talked about. If you go to www.craig-gilbert.com and click on the video link on the home page, you'll get to these videos as well. If you've come in via YouTube, then that's where the sheets are. So all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching. There'll be another video next week. Until then, I hope you have a safe week and a relaxing, mindful week. So take care, and I will speak to you again another time. Bye bye.